A regular kept spoiling a show I was watching. I used to work in a comic shop, and we had a lot of regulars who would come in every week who I got to know fairly well. There was one guy who had mentioned he liked Stargate. So one week, he came in and I mentioned to him that I'd started rewatching Stargate from the very beginning. I also mentioned that I'd never seen the last 3 seasons or any of the spin-offs, so I was excited to see them. The first thing he says is, "Oh, so you don't know about detailed description of something that happens in the final season?" I was like, "Whoa, no spoilers!" Which should have been enough. But it wasn't. Every week he'd come back in and spoil it for me even more. And every week I would tell him to please not spoil it for me. This went on for about 2 months. Between the regularity of it and the smirk he'd get on his face every time I asked him not to tell me spoilers, I knew he was doing it on purpose. So one week, he came in and bought a big pile of comics he'd ordered. I waited for him to pay, and then, instead of bagging them up, I fanned them all out on the counter. You see, I read a lot of comics, especially back then. I read every new comic that was published by Marvel and DC, and then some, as they came out. So it just so happened that I had read every comic he had just purchased. I proceed to point to each comic and spoil every single one. He didn't talk to me about Stargate after that.